Daily Calm, Piano Without Tears, and Elisabeth Swim present brain-friendly music for curriculum, learning, and behavioral support. Music for a vibrant classroom. Music has holistic benefits for your children and for you as a teacher. Rhythm, melody, and sound activities support brain development, and songs help with group regulation, as we have learned. Last session, we looked at the three-part brain and how it supports rhythm through the primitive or lizard brain, emotional meaning and memory through the limbic or midbrain, and regulation and relationships through the cortex. Here's a little visual review. You were born musical. Many people think they need special training or even talent to make music, let alone to offer it to others. But with no musical background whatsoever, you already make music every day. Your voice is music, both rhythmic and melodic, with its own tones, volumes, and speeds. Your voice is the most popular music in your class. I've shown here music in a nutshell from the Listen Up chapter of my book Piano Without Tears. And as you can see, music is nothing but sound, beat, and tune. Again, all of which are contained innately in your voice. Your unique qualification to be a music teacher is that you are already your students' favorite. For young kids, the relationship with the people making music in their lives is just as important as the music itself. As your students' teachers, you know your students well enough to allow their own music to lead into your musical activities. We'll talk more about that later. You can use music as a tool to build your relationship with them, which, to be honest, might be more difficult if you had more formal music training. Memory enhancement. When children make up their own rhythms, movements, or melodies, they take on an emotional significance that can cement them in their memory. Musicologists call this musicking. There is a whole musicological area dedicated to the musical culture of children, otherwise known as musicking. The music that children make spontaneously, whether original or variations on what they already hear around them, has its own value for expression, social connection, and brain development. But children's musicking is slowly making its way into formal music teacher education. So as someone who doesn't have the framework of a formal music education, you might be in a better position to recognize and amplify children's natural music because you know these children so well. The best place to develop and cultivate children's musicking is in their daily environments with trusted and familiar people. That's you. Your students admire you so much and care dearly about their relationship with you. Why not make the most of that by continuing to add calming, regulating, and fun music activities? There are all kinds of myths about what kinds of knowledge you need to teach music to children. But all you really need is to be willing to sing and to communicate nonverbally with your eyes and your hands sometimes. You can build your own self-confidence more and more as you take risks to lead new activities. If you're a self-conscious singer, you can record yourself and listen back. That way you're just making sure that you're singing in a way that's clear and understandable to you. If you can understand it, your kids will be able to as well. Make sure you take enough breaths to enjoy the song while you're singing it. Breath fuels your voice, and when your kids see you having fun with music, it will teach them to do the same. What about music terminology? We will have another chance to talk about music later on in the school year, which I'll come to at the end. In the meantime, please know that I've used music language and conducting symbols in your class in order to build credibility with you and your students as an expert in music, because I am teaching you and your students. But you don't need to be a music expert to get your kids' attention and trust during musical activities, or even the attention and trust of their parents, because they are already interested in what you have to offer. You are their favorite. As you see your students every day, you can make music your own way. Use the songs, movements, and activities we've looked at together and create your own. Here are some examples. In music for math, you can lead rhythmic cycles, count and conduct rhythms in groups of 2, 3, 4, and 5 beats. You may even get as far as 7 beats broken down into groups of 3 and 4. We've practiced this quite a bit in the pre-K classroom and a little bit in the younger classroom as well. Alternate between, and that would be the red room and the blue room. Alternate between counting and playing or tapping on the beat, and playing or tapping on the first beat of each cycle. So playing and tapping on each number of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then switch to 1, 1, and then back to 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. You can use the rhythm song Added Up at notearspiano.com/listen to clap on beat 1 along with me. You can also go to my SoundCloud page, which is soundcloud.com/funnytomato. But if you go here to notearspiano.com/listen, you'll find the Added Up song right there. And after a short chorus, you'll be able to clap along or tap with 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's lots of fun. Music, science, and critical thinking. So our active listening questions are already scientific inquiry when we ask if children have heard one sound or many sounds, if they've heard the same sounds or different sounds, if they've heard a long sound or a short sound. Those are all scientific inquiry. You can also support critical thinking by discussing the materials of musical instruments, like a wooden instrument versus a metal instrument, or even body parts played as percussion, like the chest, clapped hands, stomped feet. You can guide the discussion about whether they sound the same or different. You can listen to and talk about instruments of the same type in different sizes, like drums, if you have some smaller drums and bigger drums. Notice if differences in shape correlate to differences in sound. You can guide the discussion gently and see what conclusions the children come up with on their own. You might be surprised. Songs can enhance memorization of facts or sequences of information, as we've all discussed together. And sound effects can add emotional meaning to enacted, read, or sung stories that spotlight social or historical events or core concepts. So you can use sound effects when you're teaching about the seasons or phases of matter or weather patterns or any other kinds of general knowledge that your students may need to learn about. Children can make up their own songs within the limits you set out for them, like giving them a certain amount of time and giving them specific subject matter. They can make up their own songs about core concepts at hand, and who knows, maybe they'll even want to perform these for each other. Music can enhance core learning in so many different ways. You can also use chants for emotional connection. The way to do this, and this is taken from the Relationship Development Intervention method, which was designed for working with children with autism, so it works really well if you have a little bit of one-on-one connection with a student who needs a little bit of extra emotional support. Catch fragments of your students' favorite catchphrases during playtime. Like if they sing a certain phrase over and over again. I know I heard one teacher say there was some kind of catchphrase from Star Wars that their students liked a lot. So that's a great example. And then you can create your own chants based on these little sound fragments for regular daily activities like washing hands, cleaning up, putting on shoes, going out for a snack, going home at the end of the day, or anything like that. Or if children have a hard time stopping doing a particular activity, then you can make up a chant for that. So basically anything you need help regulating a group for, just make up a chant about it, but a chant that kind of is modeled after the children's own natural musicking, as we talked about earlier. And feel free to ask me about this during our meeting time on Thursday as needed. If you like, you can make a show. Though music is beneficial for its own sake, some kids like the idea of putting on a show. And you might be surprised at how certain kids who seem to be pretty wiggly and have a lot of energy and need to move around a lot, how they might actually be pretty still and connected to the group if they've got an audience. Within a fixed amount of time, you can invite the creation of an audio or video show using musical instruments for sound effects and featuring your students' preferred songs and moves. So a couple of different ideas for this are what we just talked about. You can invite the children to make up their own song, maybe with movements or with gestures or even a little acting sequence about a certain concept that you're learning about. Or you can play dance band, where you've got the students divided up into two different groups with the instruments on one side and then space to move around on the other side. You can divide up the space using painter's tape if you like. It's pretty easy to lay down and pick up again. Or you can just create visual markers and invite the children to keep track of their own space. But let half of the children play along with some music that you play for them in the background on the instruments, and the other half of the students can dance, and then they can switch. And so if you like, you can make a video of that and let the kids watch themselves and enjoy seeing what it looks like when they're connecting with their friends through music. Especially if you've got some children who might be shy and a little bit slow to connect with the whole group in activities like this, seeing themselves having fun on video with the other kids can be a really great reward. And also, even if children choose to sit on the sidelines, watching the other children play and then watching the video of everyone can be another social motivation for participation next time. I know that was a lot, so if you have any questions, just ask me when we talk in person. Yay! And this is what it feels like when you use music for fun and connection and routine and variety and learning in your classroom. Music can make for a vibrant classroom. You can use music for your self-care as a teacher. Use a calming or slower song with the whole group when you need it. You can sing it 4 or 5 times or until you feel satisfied. One example of a calming or slower song that you can use is the Hey Hey song. The Hey Hey, I like to sing this song. Hey Hey, I like to sing this song. And you can play the drum or shakers along with that song, and it can be really calming. This is great on a day when you might need a little bit of extra self-care, but maybe you didn't have time, so you're going to get the group to care for you through music. And it's also great on a day when, for whatever reason, your students don't necessarily seem connected to each other. It can really help. You can use a familiar song to get attention instead of raising your voice when gathering the group. And we've practiced this with our It's Time for Music and That's All for Music song, and the Green Table Snack song, and the Putting My Things Away song. So we've used this a lot together, this particular technique. You can also use it with any song that's not necessarily related to the moment, but you know your students like. So even if there's a song from a movie that you know they've been watching, you can all of a sudden start singing that, and I'm sure that, a good amount of students will follow you. Lead a relaxing, quiet listening session to your favorite chill-out music. If students get wiggly, ask active listening questions like, do you hear one sound or many sounds? Do you hear long sounds or short sounds? Do you hear the same sound or different sounds? Do you hear fast sounds or slow sounds? Some nice relaxing music that I like to find is I look for theta waves, like music that will create theta waves. Those are the waves that, the brain waves that happen when we're really relaxed. So that, if you search for that, it'll turn up some pretty fun, new agey, relaxing things. And I also like string quartets, like Haydn string quartets are really great, Haydn. And womb sounds are good, and ocean sounds are really good as well. So you can use all these techniques to create a vibrant classroom for yourself and your students. Using music for your self-care as a teacher is another option throughout the day. So if you're feeling low energy, you can lead a movement song with the children. You can use high arm movements or a whole body movement to help you energize. Or if you feel like you're not connected to your students or they're not listening to you, lead a call and response, clapping, tapping, or vocal activity. To connect students to each other at the next level, you can give each one of them a chance to lead. This is a great circle time activity. If you're feeling disconnected from other staff members and you're going to go into a meeting, then maybe you can do a shared listening or brain-friendly movement experience as a meeting icebreaker. And this works at parties as well, any social situation where you might need an icebreaker. Music is a wonderful way to bring people into a sense of shared presence at the beginning of a group project. So as I said, we will have a chance to go further together. In January, by request, we have a Friday workshop on brain-friendly music on January 19th, and it'll be in the Blue Room from 9 to 10:30. You'll have a chance to go further into any musical concepts that are still unclear if there are any that you want to talk about, but we can also brainstorm about other ways you can continue to layer musical concepts into your lessons. And I also want to hear about your successes there. There will be some parents there so we can kind of show off you can kind of show off the success that you've had a little bit if you like, and share some of your own experience with brain-friendly movement in the classroom. I know I've seen a lot of wonderful creativity and commitment and dedication to learning how to integrate music more into the Red Room and the Blue Room, and it's been such an honor to be a part of this process this fall. And I know a lot of it's things that you may have already known, and I might just be pointing them out and reminding you that they are musical. So it's been an honor to do that. So you'll also practice, at this workshop, you'll also practice specific musical tools for self-care and well-being at home or in the classroom. And even if a little tiny bit of this might be a review for you, it'll be good to have some reinforcement in your learning. And it will be eligible as well for credit toward your, the whole credit that you get for taking this course. So I am so glad that we've had a chance to work together. Congratulations on making it to the end of the last training video. Please let me know with a simple comment that you have watched. You can write yes to mail if you'd like me to stay in touch. I send out some nice reminders of self-care and brain-friendly music and movement-related messages. Not very often, probably every couple months or so. But yeah, you can write yes to mail in the comments if you'd like me to stay in touch. And another thing is that I do send out pre-written cards in the mail. And so if you'd like to be on the list for those, and again, those have self-care techniques and nice reminders of some brain-friendly principles. If you'd like to be on the mailing list for those, you can email me your postal address or give it to me when I see you. But I have had such a good time getting to know you during this semester. I look forward to seeing you on Thursday and also to connecting with you again in January. I hope you're available. And congratulations once more.